Steamtown is celebrating 4 anniversaries this year and the arrival of the big boy. Hello everyone, I'm Don Jacobs and I'm here at Steamtown in Scranton, and we're going to go wild with Discover NEPA, learning about the celebrations that are happening here this year, and a big announcement. You're going to hear from Jeremy Komasz.
So the Steamtown National Historic Site is a unit of the National Park Service, which is aimed at preserving railroading history in the United States, specific to the steam era and the transition from steam to diesel. So we have 4 anniversaries here at Steamtown. So we are celebrating in 2026 the 40th anniversary of Steamtown's enabling legislation. So the legislation by Congress, which created the Steamtown National Historic Site. We are celebrating the 110th birthday of the National Park Service. We are also celebrating 200 years of railroading in America, which began with the Gravity Railroad. And then finally, we're celebrating the 250th anniversary of the United States.
Break out the birthday cakes, buddy.
Absolutely. It's going to be a big party all year long.
Tell me about the museums.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our History Museum, which obviously talks about the history of railroading in the United States and what that did to build our country. So perfect time to celebrate it with America 250. We have our Technology Museum, which celebrates, the technology that goes into not only steam locomotives, but also the maintenance of the track and the maintenance of that equipment, and then the diesel locomotives that followed the steam era. And then we also have our historic roundhouse, which is where we actually store and work on the locomotives, and then our back shops, some of which are original to this site here in Scranton, Pennsylvania. This is the roundhouse. Behind us is obviously the historic part. And then from about track 7 over to track 26 is the construction from the early 1990s. So when they established Steamtown, that's the new construction, but they formed it so that it looked like the original roundhouse. This is normally off limits to the public, although we do guided tours to the shop. So we call it the shop tour.
Okay.
So this is our Baldwin 26. This is the belle of Steamtown, if you will. So she is a 1929 Baldwin Locomotives Works, fully operational, fully functional steam engine. She pulls the majority of our short train rides. So we do Friday, Saturday, Sundays. We do short train rides. I think it's 4 times a day. They go out, they hit some switches, and they go all the way out to out by the U. So what we call the Scranton sign, which is actually the edge of the National Park Service property. And the Baldwin 26 pulls that. The Baldwin 26 can also make the run all the way up to Carbondale.
So I just look at this and I say, I was never really a railroad guy, but how can you not be? Look at the steel, the work, the pipes, and then think about the history. You just sold me on coming back with my grandkids.
Absolutely, and that's actually what we find is when people get out and they see this, and I don't have a railroad background either. Growing up as a kid, I think almost everybody likes trains, right? Yeah. But I wasn't into trains. But when you see this and you see the work that some of these young guys do, right? When you see the work that they do keeping this almost 100-year-old piece of equipment up and running, and to hear the bell and the whistle and all of that it's pretty impressive. I don't think that you need to be a rail fan to appreciate, and then to think that this was made 97 years ago.
97 years ago.
97 years ago, 1929. Everybody loves the Baldwin 26, but it's a switcher, right? So it's designed to move stuff around the yard, right? People want to see mainline steam. That's why the big boy 4014, Union Pacific's big boy, coming to Steamtown, doing that coast-to-coast tour for the 250th anniversary. That's why everybody's so excited about it. It is big steam, and it is impressive. There were originally 25 big boys manufactured. They were all made in Schenectady, New York. Of the 25 that are made, there are 8 remaining. Second largest steam locomotive ever to be manufactured in the United States. And Union Pacific has the only functional. There are 7, obviously, that are in some sort of static display in a museum. Here at Steamtown National Historic Site, we have big boy number 4012, the brother locomotive of the 4014. Ours is a static display item, and where we have it positioned, the big boy 4014 can actually pull up right alongside it. So this will be the first time since about the 1950s that two big boys will sit next to each other on track. And that is happening beginning on June the 15th. And we will have that, the 4012 and the 4014 sitting next to each other for approximately 17 days. In addition to all the other anniversaries that we have going on this year, every year over Labor Day weekend, we do what we call Railfest. And what we do is we try to feature a specific locomotive that's somewhere in its historical journey. So last year was the 100th anniversary of the 6039. This year we're going to celebrate the Baldwin 26, even though it's not 100 years old yet, but it's 2026. We figured Baldwin 26 kind of makes sense.
You just feel dwarfed standing
You
next
do.
to
You
these
absolutely do. And that's actually one of the reasons why we do that shop tour.
Yeah.
Because when you're up above, right, and you're looking down, you're like, okay, that's pretty impressive. But then to come down here and see, you know, the size of the wheels, the size of the tender, right? So this is the Bullard number 2. A significant amount of the cosmetic restoration. So this is just a cosmetic, does not run, but a significant amount of the cosmetic restoration on this was done by volunteer labor. We made a big deal about it because we do survive a lot based on our volunteers, based on the folks that are willing to come in and give their time and their talent to help us kind of preserve this history.
Are you looking for volunteers?
We are always looking for volunteers here at Steamtown. We have the opportunity for people to come in and do everything from frontline, where you're actually interacting with the visitors every single day, to groundskeeping and maintenance that we need at the back side of the shop. And then in the middle, we have the ability, if somebody comes in with a skill set where they actually know how to work on locomotives and how to fix these, we can bring you into our loco shop. And then finally, our trainmen and conductors and engineers and even firemen are some of those folks are volunteers as well.
So I was saying it to myself all along. I was never really a rail buff, but boy, did I get excited with the tour from Jeremy. You can get excited by visiting the Steamtown National Park. Year-round, something to see that will amaze you. Now, for this episode of Go Wild with Discover NEPA and all of the rest of the episodes, you can go to discovernepa.com or subscribe on YouTube.